Hello and welcome to today's historic best of 3 deck tech gameplay video on Snow Zombies, which is really just Zombie Tribal. Zombie Tribal is an update to an older version of this list. The update comes from the Shadows over Innistrad remaster, I believe is the term technically, which gave us Diregraf Captain, which is basically one more zombie lord amongst a load of other zombie lords like Death Baron, Lord of the Accursed, and A-Narfi. And with that, we want to play loads of zombies, either load of the ground ones like Champion of the Parish or Bladestitched Skaab, as well as all of our aforementioned zombie lords, and generally just want to make a wide board of zombies and run down our opponent until they're no longer alive, more or less. At which point we can devour their tasty flesh. Meh. Land base, entirely pretty self-explanatory, all things considered. Loads of blue-black lands that can, for the most part, come into play untapped. We do have a couple of utility lands, Haven, because it's a creature land that is sort of also a zombie, and Locthwain for card draw. Sideboard, also very understandable, pretty obvious silver bullet cards. Leyline of the Void for opposing graveyards. Tainted Remedy for life gain decks. Unmoored Ego for particular combo pieces or decks that focus around like real linchpin cards like your Niv Mizzet Reborns and the like. I have, let's see, Crippling Fear. Crippling Fear is basically, I think almost always in this deck, it's always, a one-sided sweeper. Although admittedly, sweep is in soft terms because it's not a destroy, it's just a shrink effect. But still, one-sided sweepers in an aggressive deck is good. We also have Enter the God Eternals for a little bit of single target removal, and some life gain, which we do need to if we happen to need to play the more controlling role in any particular game. And a couple of Nezahal, Primal Tides for usually the opposing control matchups, but even like the blue-red Spellslinger decks of the world. Nezahal is not admittedly a zombie, so we don't get flavor points for that. It's just a good sideboard card to bring in against non-creature heavy decks. And that is the basics of the list. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you like my grab bag of content and would like to see more in the future. And now we'll go on to game number 1. And game number 1 with our little Snow Zombie Tribal list. Like you always hear me say, we go first because we have a brain. And because this is a one-lander, and we also still have a brain, we're going to throw that bad boy back. 2 lands, things to play. We easily get rid of the A-Narfi, not only because there's more than one, but because it's the most expensive card in our hand. And a Champion of the Parish, turn 1, is easily our best 1-drop. Admittedly, we only have the Parish, or the Champion, and the Cryptbreaker, but it is nice to have some turn 1 plays. Some sort of, okay. Clearly some sort of heavy artifact dealio, which is fine. No point in attacking with the Champion here. Of course, he is going to turn those into 4/4s, which isn't great. This is pretty interesting, honestly. I've said this before in many videos. And I'll say it again. It's in Soul Artifact. Okay, I like our opponent's deck. Hell yeah. We're going to go ahead and block, because if we don't, we're going to die. But to my original point, I did not expect Retrofitter Foundry to be the thing that sees so much play. It's a good card, let's not get it twisted. Just not what you would expect. I guess the Death Baron? This is one of the problems that has, well, okay, problems, air quote, that you'll also hear me talk about in the description below. In that, this deck still, despite both what I'm about to say and what's going to be in the comments, or not in the comments, in the description, the deck is still fun, and you can totally get wins, but this is going to be a good example of sometimes other decks are just gonna be faster. We'll play a Death Baron, why not? This gives me time to explain my thoughts. But other aggressive lists are more regressive and much more linear. Hell, even the, seldom, tribal deck, like your Goblins, more explosive than we all know. I would argue second one is probably Elves, and they just go wider than you and just make bigger board states than you, which I would call, again, being more aggressive. I mean, even Merfolk Merfolk's is about as close to a similar speed as we're going to get. But yeah, they just go faster than you. Now, again, you can totally take wins and have a whole lot of fun with this list, but there's definitely a ceiling. As you can tell from my rank, we've been struggling to get that far. God damn, their deck is loads of big... I mean, I guess we'll have to take the Crippling Fear. Augurs are not that great. Maybe a couple God Eternals for some Bladestitched Skaabs. Just try to get some sort of removal spell. But as you can see from this very gold ranking, admittedly, it's the 6th of April. That's the month. It's April 6th as I record this, so I haven't had that much time to grind back up after the ladder reset. But the fact that I'm still at gold now sort of shows that, like, you have to really work for wins with this deck. Again, you can still get them, and make no mistake, over a long enough time period, if I, or you at home who wanted to try this list, if you were an average skilled player, you will get to Platinum, Platinum being the middle ground. You will get there. It's not an issue of if, it's a matter of when. But you're going to have to work for it. Now, it is also hella fun and totally on flavor. It's not a great hand. But yeah, you just got to work for it. Is basically my point. Now, hopefully we'll draw a Black Source. Maybe get a Murderous Rider. I will happily, weirdly remove an Ornithopter, which is not a statement I'm used to saying. God. Credit given, I don't think I've seen like a Lurrus in Soul Artifact. Oh, we're not drawing what we need. List. So our opponent's list is really interesting. And there are like a good amount of what's the word? Of artifact heavy blue-white decks that do float around. And you can do okay, but black and blue don't have great answers to artifacts, like if I was in a red deck or a green deck, or even a white deck. Basically, blue and black, our deck's colors, are the colors that are most lacking in artifact removal, first off, and mass artifact removal in particular. And we block there just so we don't die, only to fall. God damn! Yeah, just, the deck is just faster and more explosive. Fair play. They won totally fair and square, nothing but respect. Oh god. Alright, I'm gonna give you a couple more cast of spells. Thank you. So you don't gotta be totally BM about it, but I understand you gotta get your quest to cast X spells. Yeah. That is unfortunate, but it does show that, like we were talking about earlier, man, decks are just faster than zombies. But, anywho, we'll go on to game number 2. If game number 2 is particularly short like this one is, or was now, I will probably do a third game, depending on, you know, how it goes, but at minimum, now we're on to game number 2. And game number 2 with our little zombie tribal list. Opponent, again, if they have a brain in their skull, should go first. I think we're going to mulligan this. This is a very slow hand. There we go. We got things to do on curve. We're going to throw one of the Augurs back. We don't need both. And one more thing, now that I'm talking about this deck, and we have some free time in the early turns. One of the reasons I've been able to theorize that zombies isn't as when I say strong, I mean compared to others. Hey, I'm posing zombie list. Fuck yeah. But my original point, one of the reasons why I think zombies suffer is that they don't have a really good refill device that doesn't just kill you like the Augur. Zombies has it, and you can, again, like our opponent is showing us, you can get some pretty good starts. But man, you gotta work for them real bad. But like, we don't really, because think about it, like, I mean, I have card draw, but it is going to kill me. Now, in the interest of fairness, that's very on point for black, like thematically in their color palette. But others don't have to work so hard and incur so much like damage to themselves to get their refill. Of course, and on a quick side note, we kill the champion as soon as we can because that card will climb out of control really, really fast. I think we're just gonna play a Swamp and a Diregraf, hopefully building up a board. Next turn it'll probably Pardon? Non-token zombie and is the battlefield under control. Okay, not bad. Not bad. Yeah, the original plan, we'll go ahead and Death Baron first. Get some more. Get an Augur, get some more dudes. In interest of fairness, one thing that, like, I mean, I guess this is true of all, what's the word, tribal list, in that if unchecked, if a board like this is left unchecked, which is a possibility that it will, this game will very quickly, like, go out of, or get out of reach. What the hell? For our opponent. What is this card? Die, switch a card for library for card named Wretched Throng. Okay, it's fine. But yeah, you can make an argument that like unchecked danger level is true of all tribal and aggressive lists, but like at least for zombies, it kind of feels appropriate. You know, if you don't manage to like control the horde gets out of hand, then you have like a 28 days later thing going real fast. Okay, we do lose them, but honestly, I'm kind of happy to lose the Augur. Again, harping on my point that like Augur is useful, but man, it stacks up quick, man. So maybe if I revisit this list, I might not include the Augur. All right, of course. And I might include that 4-mana sorcery. It's like 1 blue and 3, and you like choose a creature type, and then you draw cards for each creature you control of said type. Is about the most that I can think of. Because that like accomplishes the same thing without, you know, killing us. Which is, has to be said. Go ahead and get rid of some of their lords. A really weird spot. Go ahead and attack. We can also now attack with the Narfi relatively freely. We do have 3 snow lands to procure the Narfi. Huh. You can only have 4, so he's getting the. I know he's getting the extras from the Necro Duality. But this is actually doing a good job of showing. Again, I think I might have already somewhat started on this point and then like stopped. So if I'm repeating myself, I apologize. But my original point. I mean, think about it. Like our opponent is out of cards damn near and doesn't really have a way to draw more. That's hilarious. But like think about it. Like I mean, yeah, they're gonna get more, but not really gonna do much with it, if that makes sense. Zombie. We'll get back our Narfi here. And a Murderous Rider. I believe we can activate Lord of the Accursed, threaten lethal, forcing them to block with 2 creatures each due to the Lord of the Accursed menace, or due to the Lord of the Accursed giving our zombies menace. This will do a good job of cleaning up the board, and since they're tokens, we're just going to get more on subsequent turns thanks to the Diregraf Colossus. Death touch because wow, he let the other one through. Do I just die? I don't think so. Least of all with the 5 life, I don't think we die. Right? I mean, if he has a removal spell for the Colossus, that does suck. Like a sizable amount. But if nothing else, we can just do the Lord of the Accursed again. Yep. And also, as much as I love Murderous Rider, and you need some removal in this list, and not only does Rider fit being a zombie, but you don't have that much, like, free space. And in fact, that, like, the Rider hurts you, like, again, very on theme, but like, man, all this self-damage without having like, what's the term? Without having like a Death Shadow style card. Oh, that's hilarious. It is all, isn't it? Yeah. We'll go ahead and attack. I think we win. I don't care. I think we do. As far as I can tell. Attacking 5. He has 6 creatures on board. So he has to block with 2. So 2, 4, 6. Yeah, I think we win here, right? I don't think there's anything he can do. Not that I can think of, right? Attacking with 5. He has 6 creatures. So yeah, 2, 4, 6. That's his whole board, leaving the Narfi and the Murderous Rider. Yeah, we're good. Our opponent is... Well, oh, that's true. The lifelink might make this math a little weird. I forgot that he had a Murderous Rider of his own. I was too busy, like, waxing poetic about the strengths and, like, pitfalls of this deck. And, like, didn't properly read the goddamn board state, so that's a thing. Does have Death Touch, so it doesn't matter. Okay, this might actually let him live, but he's not gonna have a board, so like, yeah. That's okay, fine. Yeah, I didn't really do the appropriate math here. I think we're still alive though. He's gonna crack his waterfront district, which is nice. But yeah, plus I think we still win. Admittedly, I bricked that real hard and nearly threw that away when we did not need to. Normally, we would bring in a Crippling Fear like we did last game, but our opponent, being zombies also, is admittedly... I don't think in the last 2 weeks of testing with this deck that I do for all decks, I don't think I ran into a single zombie list. So, technically, there will be the once in a fortnight mirror matchup, at which point Crippling Fear will be bad, but we don't have Damnation, so it's the best we can do. We'll bring in the God Eternals. Honestly, the Augurs can go. Like, yeah, I think if I revisit this in the future, and I probably will, because it's still fun. Like, I still am enjoying this. But if I revisit it in the future, and if I remember this particular moment, I think I'm going to cut the card. I'm going to cut the Augurs. At least a couple of them. Oh, this is a beautiful hand. Of course, like any aggressive deck, you can get some nut draws early, like 2 Champion of the Parish back-to-back, and, like, grow really fast, and, like, to an absurd degree. Though our opponent, we do know that they have some ability to clear it, so yeah, how good it will be, we shall see. We sadly actually can't attack this turn, but that's, like, not that big of a problem in the grand scheme of things. Maybe if he plays like a Death Baron, that would suck. If he does take his whole turn to remove it, small. What? I'm a little juke. 3 mana, Edict, or make it. Okay, that's fine. It's limited out of 5. That's cool. Oh, it's beautiful. I think we'll play the path. Well, no, we need a second blue for what's it called? The thing, the card. For the End of the God Eternal. So we'll go ahead and play the Pathway onward. Go face, ignore our opponent. We're in a pretty good spot. There's not a whole lot that our opponent's going to be able to do. Yeah, they might remove some stuff. But, like, we're pretty firmly in the driver's seat, if you will. Our courtyards will name zombies for reasons that should be obvious. We'll play Narfi since there's no way they have some mana leak style effect. There's, quote, no way. So they could have also even had like a bounce there, but their deck doesn't appear to be trying to play that. And here's the board. In that case, I think we'll play the Watery Grave and just play Death Baron. We don't have the Snowlands to get this thing back, so I think we're just going to start throwing our zombie tokens in. He is eating the damage, which is a very nice start. But now, this is a nice touch that actually, to be fair, is a strength of zombies as opposed to like a merfolk or as opposed to merfolk, honestly. Okay, we'll take that win. But one thing that zombies does have, I will try and finish this point, is that it can make a, with cards like the Colossus, you can make a respectable board of tokens and use them, as well as the Cryptbreaker also makes tokens now that I think about it. And you can have the tokens do your dirty work and not have to like threaten the big cards like the Colossus or any one of your myriad number of lords and still like really threaten lethal. Now, you would argue that like only Merfolk has this shortfall. Elves can do it. Arguably make a larger board than a larger and eventually bigger board than zombies can, but and goblins can do the same. So it's like, while yes, it's a point in the favor of what's it called, of zombies, it's not a trait unique to zombies. Now, let's see. What else was I gonna say? I swear there was another thought in my head. Not that I can think of. Think I lost it. Yeah, you know what? That's fine. And this game went, what, 12 minutes? Yeah, we'll go ahead and keep it. Why not? And you know what? Actually, I will go ahead and change this now. Talking about the changing card draw spells that I was talking about. Really fast. I don't remember the name of the card, and if you wanted to do it at home, I cannot in good conscience recommend that you play this list with 4 Undead Augurs. So maybe we cut down 2 of the Augurs, because it is still also, it is just a bear on curve with some upside, technically. Now, let's see, I think it's a 4 mana sorcery that's blue. I think it's choose a type name. Can't think of the name of. Oh, I just saw it at the front. There we go, Distant Melody. So we'll go ahead and bring a couple of those in. So that's the only change I would make. For reference, now the list I'm gonna post, because you're gonna see, is I'm not gonna save the changes, but that's what I would make a change for. But that's not going to be reflected in the list below because it's not technically what was in the video. I just wanted to show you all what I would do. And you can get a brief little glimpse of like all of the decks that are floating around in here. And if you haven't seen them, maybe you will, maybe you won't. But know that we got, what's the word? We got content for a while on Arena. Now, with that out of the way, thank you all so very much for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you liked it. Subscribe if you like my grab bag of content and would like to see more in the future. And stay safe to one another out there, and get out there and enjoy the spring, if you can, where you live. Bye-bye.